everyone, I'm Laurie Ellison from Hudson Valley Bookkeeping. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to track Section 8 payments with your tenant. All right, let's get started. Okay guys, let's talk Section 8. One of my clients recently had this dilemma. We got his QuickBooks all set up, everything was really good. And let's say it was somewhere in the state of Connecticut. Something can happen where they're not paying their portion of your tenant's Section 8 payment. It can get behind for a couple different reasons, and maybe an inspection or something like that. So what we found was another problem was, there's the tenant's portion of how much they owe for rent each month. And then there is the state or town or county, whoever is funding the difference, right? So what we found was the issue is the state was behind a month or two on the tenant's payment, but that had nothing to do with what the tenant really owed. So we came up with a new way to track that tenant and the tenant's rent. So first off, before we even start looking at the invoicing, let's talk about the chart of accounts. And I'm in business view, so this is probably what you're looking at. There's two different views they've got going at Intuit, but hopefully this will be the one you're using. Okay, so you would click bookkeeping. Then here's chart of accounts. Okay, so let's go look at, we have all these different income accounts, but I'm going to create a separate one just regarding, like this sort of thing. Let's go up to the top. I hate the way they do this now. Okay, so we're going to make one part for the tenant share, and then we'll have another part for, like, let's say the county. This part doesn't really matter. Sales, services. Never pick uncategorized, please. It's so frustrating. I hate this. Okay, so we did tenant share. So right now let's do Section 8. No, it was Unit H. Section 8 county. We're just gonna say the county. Select category, income, sales. I keep sending feedback saying I hate this. Okay, so let's look. Unit 8, Section 8, tenant share. Unit H, Section 8, county. Share. Then let's just do one that's just Unit H as a parent. Let's see if we can get them to go together. The key when you're making these codes is that you make sure you keep them all in the same section, or I think it's hard to make them become subs. Okay, so I made everything say Section 8 so I could look at them. They're 3 independent units right now. What we want to do is make this county and the tenant a sub account of the rental unit. And I think I was thinking it said Section 8 when I was. So then I searched Unit H. Okay, so now here we have county. Let's see if we can do this. Move category under, we're going to click this. And then if we type in the Unit H, okay, and we pick this one, now we can make it a sub. It used to be so much easier. Let's see. Okay, so now it's a sub. So what they did was they don't even let you make or like sub a lot of things. In my training I watched recently, they're trying to make it harder for people to create accounts. But you're paying all this money, so I would think you should be able to do whatever you want. Okay, so why is this important? I will tell you. Sometimes you might, like, when you're running your P&L or doing a rent roll, you may only need to want to know like the total income done for this tenant, right? Like you don't totally care about the tenant share versus the government share. But let's say you want to go to a bank, you need to have these neatly put together so you could collapse your profit and loss and show how much you're really pulling in on a unit. Okay. So always, whenever you're working in QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop, just in this program in general, the first step to doing anything is making sure you understand what your account code you want to use, right? Also called chart of accounts. So this right now, I have it narrowed down, but what we're talking about right now is the income, because if you want to invoice a tenant, so you can keep track of, especially on a Section 8 tenant, because they might be paying you piecemeal and paying you part in cash or money order, and they have sometimes a hard time, especially if they get behind, you trying to prove how much they really owe you. So this is why we're doing this, because I'm going to create this is going to, by having the two different income codes, you're going to be able to see it on your P&L, but we are going to actually create two separate tenants for this piece so that we can invoice the county separate from the regular tenant, okay, the person. There's one other thing we should do, which I recommend to everybody, and I understand that you used to be in Essentials and now you have to go to Plus. You really need classes. I don't like the tags. I think it's not worth the workaround. If you're running rentals and you're making any sort of money, you need to not try and save the dollars on this, okay? That's my little rant. Okay, so under list, where are my tags? Hold on. Okay, so I don't know why I can't see classes on my thing right now, but this is where you would find it if you have your classes turned on right here. So I went to advanced accountant settings, went to advanced because they should be part of my list. I go here, my classes should be here. I'll show you another way to add the class, but you should normally be able to go right over here, go to lists, and then you would see it. Oh, here we go. Now we can see it in this section. I clicked this button a minute ago and it wouldn't even work. Now for this piece, I only want unit H. Okay, let's not get crazy. And you can see in the darker area that we have these different buildings and so forth, but that is a whole different YouTube video I've done. We're sticking with this. Okay, so now we have for that unit. Now see here, I had certain buildings and certain units. And then I like to do a general class. Here, G&A, that just means general and administrative. Okay, so unit H is what we're trying to do. If you click over to get paid and pay, the other thing, you can change this so it changes it so it says tenants and not customers. I'm not really gonna worry about that right now, okay? So new customer. Okay. Okay, so that is our tenant. Okay, the other thing I would do is I would put customer name and then I would actually say unit H. I also like to put in here when their lease is expiring. Okay, fine. Let's see. So you're going to deal with things like this in QuickBooks. Oops, but that is just the way of the world. Let's see if it's saved. And it's saved. It said it didn't, right? Okay. So we're going to set up that, and then we're going to set up the county. So now I would keep one separate for each one, right? So this one goes with unit H. We don't need to put it with Joe. Did I not write Joe Bond and then say unit H? That one, that part didn't save. But the part that they said didn't save, saved. Okay. So now we've got, because those things are going to be kind of separate, right? Because they're going to, that's going to really depend. So now we have created the income code for both pieces, for the county and for the tenant. And now we have actually created the tenants inside QuickBooks. So what's the next step? The next step is to create your product and services. And my employee Junior was doing this with one of our clients' employees. And I at first said, Junior, we only need one item. And she said, no, we really can't. And we should really have two. And then when we went over it, I agreed. So, because we're trying to see the difference, right? We have the two income codes, so we can see it coming in and it groups up to the top. So when Junior said that to me, I said, oh my gosh, you're right. So this name here, where it says Unit H, Clallam County, that is going to link Section 8 County. So always kind of make your item name go really close to your actual income. So we're linking these together. And you can put something in here. Okay. The other thing to know about this that you have to be really careful is that sometimes with the Section 8 stuff, it goes up and down how much the county or town or city or whatever's going on is helping pay, right? So the tenants are often sending in different, I don't know, like income verification, and it goes up and down. That's why then you're going to have to change the tenant share and then maybe the county share. So that's why I was kind of rambling. You may not want to put the sales. I would until it changes. Okay. Unit H. So this piece, I'm not going to reference. So I'm referencing the tenant. I'm not putting Joe Bond in there because unit H could change all the time, right? He can move out. But so this one says tenant share. So I'm pretty much kind of like making my item name match that. And let's say he pays $500. You can always go in and change the description as things change, but this will help autofill on the invoice. Oh, and look, you can click here for the class. Oops. Unit H. So let me go back to this one. This will help in a little bit. I'll show you what it does. Okay, so the biggest reason we're doing this is because sometimes the county or whatever government body is paying, or they get behind, or there's like one little piece of paperwork that you did submit and they say you didn't, you have to resubmit it, or there was an inspection and you had to fix something. And the first thing that the government's going to do is hold back your payment. But that has nothing to do with the tenant. Joe in this scenario, right? So Joe paid his $500, $500, or maybe he didn't. But if you have 1 or 2 months of these $1,000 and you have a tenant that's owing a much smaller share, they get very upset. They don't want to really, they don't count into their mind what is happening on that section of it. They only care about their portion. So that's why we're doing this. Okay. Okay. So now we're at the customer, Joe. We're going to create an invoice. We're going to make it for August 1st. Okay. So unit. Unit H, section 8, tenant share. So his monthly rent is $500. And you'll see it auto-filled your class right here, right? Okay. And I would have to go back into Joe, and I'm not going to do that now, but it would obviously be due. And you can put in their email and send them these. I mean, unless you're using payments through QuickBooks, which is fine, I don't really think people need to be reminded of when their rent is due. And I don't even think, none of my clients actually invoice the government centers. It's like a thing that they're signed up with. It's like a contract. But I'm only dealing mostly with New York, and Connecticut. So, okay, so 8-1, we pick this, 8-1. Now we're going to do Unit H, Clallam County. Clallam County share of Joe, 1,000. Okay. So first, let's run some reports. So first, let's run a regular profit and loss. And we're going to run it on accrual just so you can see. Oh, I've been doing other things in here. Okay, so like this has something from another piece. So it shows the units, right? And then here's our section 8 piece. We have the tenant share, and that you can see that unit H is bringing in $1,500 a month. And you can all see how I did that. I clicked that little arrow. Okay, now the reason we use classes. Wow. Let's just do 1 month. Okay. So here you can do building 1. Then here's unit H, right? So here it is in the class section. So why do I like classes? Because what if you have, and you shouldn't, but some of you do, what if you have 3 different buildings at 3 different locations and you're all holding them under one LLC? Please stop doing that. What it is, and let's say you're selling only 1, or you're refinancing just 1, but now you've gone and put 3 properties under the same LLC, and you don't want the banker or purchaser to know your business on your other 2 units, right? So we're going to go up here, and we're going to go, I gotta figure this. Shoot. Okay, we've got the filter. You go down to class, and then we'll just pick unit H, which could be our building. And there you go. Okay. So that's my little rant on the classes and why you should just pay the extra $30. It's $360 a year more. You just got to get used to paying for more money in accounting software. Okay. So now let's say that, the county paid. Now I was running those reports on accrual because that's what you really should be making versus cash. So you get a bad tenant, that's a different thing. Okay, this is called payments to deposit. In other videos of mine and in older QuickBooks versions, it's called undeposited funds. But right now we can just throw this right into the checking account. Save and close. So the most important thing to see is now with your unit, right? You've got the Clallam County and the Joe. The only other thing, I'm going to just ramble for a minute. Let me make unit H as the main unit or building, right? Should have done that. Sometimes I'm trying to keep things simpler and then I always go back to making things complicated. It's not really complicated, but you're still going to want to look at it from the perspective of that unit. Clallam County, click edit, make it a sub-customer. This would really probably be a building or something. Doesn't matter. Not really. Like one of my clients owns a lot of condo units. They're each individually. So that could be another thing. Okay, so now you know, see over here on the left, unit H, there's $500 out on that unit. And if it had been the other way around and Joe paid, then we know that it was Clallam County. As this goes along and a tenant needs a statement, this way you will not be including things that they don't care about. Clallam County may or may not care if Joe Bond paid, but either way, now you can make a statement. So I just want to show like what that would look like. Oh, this was my issue. Don't click bill parent customer. Okay, so unit H is a sub customer. I mean, Joe is a sub customer, right? Now let me go back, make it a sub customer, but parent customer. And then see how that pops up? Don't do that. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see if it works. Yay. Okay, so those are the rules. I'll put that in the things of Flash. So now we can do it separate and we can make everybody their statements, but we get to keep this part. So let's look at this one. Statement. And so we can't do an open item, but we could do a transaction statement. Total received, amount received. Okay. I don't really love QuickBooks statements, but. All right, guys. I hope this helped you. Please send me emails about anything you'd like done. I appreciate the emails at hello@hvbookkeeping.com. I have a hard time sometimes checking all the YouTube comments. So if you send that directly, my assistant will give me the request and we will get working on it. All right. Have a great day.